I was going to a dance event that happened every 2 weeks in Brussels. And it was a freestyle kind of dance thing, so you do whatever you're inspired to do, and that way you kind of feel that you've expressed your inner self and so forth. And yet there was all these rules in place. You couldn't talk, and it was 3 hours long. You weren't allowed to talk. And the lights were off at the beginning, and then they turned on, and then it was only once there was some light that people could start to move. And you couldn't come in late. If you arrived late, no matter how much money you wanted to pay at the door, you couldn't pay double and enter. You were not allowed in. And so I said to the manager that had arranged these dance sessions, I said, you know, people who like to dance, they're kind of freewheeling, creative people, and they don't really like all these rules. And he said something that is very relevant to this discussion. He said, well, actually, each rule had a purpose.
Of course.
And each rule, so it was in French, so it formed le cadre, the framework. And it's only within this cadre that something new can grow that has no place anywhere else in the world. And I thought about that, and I thought, okay, after about an hour and a half or so, there really was something that would emerge in these dance sessions. So people would be going at each other like crocodiles or something, and then people would sort of start conceiving of each other as sort of in a more like deities, or just images would go through your mind, and that would inform your dance and your interactions with others, and then the way that you conceived of these people. It had very little to do with the way that we conceive of each other in everyday life. And it was interesting. It felt deeper. It felt more primitive. It felt kind of profound.
Scary, I should think.
At times it was actually scary. Yeah. And so then he said to me, you've noticed a change that happens at about after an hour and a half or so. And he said, that's not by accident. That is exactly because of the rules that I put in place. So the reason that you can't talk is because it shushes this part of your brain that is so used to communicating with other people, and that it really takes an hour and a half for that part of your brain to really shush, and for these other parts of who you are, who your deep identity is,
Very nice.
have their time to play in the sun and to interact and to discover each other. And he said the reason why you can't arrive late is because you're too close to that human talking world, and you bring that in with you, and so it would disrupt what we're trying to grow, what we're trying to allow to nourish in this room.
That's very nice.
And give it a little space to breathe and grow, and then you go out and do what you do in everyday life,
Of course.
which is more effective and so forth. But wow, did that ever make me conceive of not just dance in a new way, but creativity in a new way, and the role of constraints and
That's
enablement.
right. That's right.
So,
That's
I
very
don't know,
good.
do you know, Liane, or do you know, Gordon, I mean, of any serious attempt to understand the interplay between enabling constraints and what